Hey all, Jean here. Sometimes getting on to these videos is a total nightmare. Anyways, behind the scene trying to figure out something that probably do not need figuring out. Anyways, Jean here, and how is everybody doing this evening? Hope you're well. Today's video is about, I'm going to give you 3 life lessons that is going to help you live. Let's see if you want a better life or if you want to live a better life, or if you are in a spot in your life and you're like, you know what? I need something that work for me. I need to figure this thing called life out because I haven't figured it out. So I need to figure it out. Well, the first thing I'll say is that, and this is not part of the 3 lessons or the 3 insights or the 3, whatever you want to call it. This is just me saying, well, yeah, I don't know if life is something we can actually clearly figure out because um, I think that when it comes to figuring out life, I can say maybe that's the one thing or the one place that we are all in the same boat. Yeah, we are all in the same boat. We are all trying to figure this shit out. Um, we are all trying to, navigate from point A to point Z. And the funny thing about us in life is that when we want to navigate, when we have a destination plan, or, we do our planning, or we have our goals, or all these kind of a things, or the things we want to manifest, and all these, pretty things in the world that we want, to bring to ourselves. Mostly every one of us want more money. That's our thing. We want to have more money. And I get it. I understand it because currency having currency, then your life can be, maybe you wouldn't be happier or any of those things, but it currency would make you able to get the things that you want to get. For me, I don't really want a lot of things. I mean, and I'm talking about personal outdoor things. I don't want a lot of those things. But there are certain things I would like when it comes to that. And one of those things is I'm flying to Ontario to go see a sick friend. And, currency, have some currency, that would help a lot in all the areas for me, for her, for all of that. So I can understand wanting that and having that as a plan or something to look forward to. But what I realize is that, when we have a goal or we have a plan or we're looking towards the future or whatever it is that we kind of have it line up. We do the whole, we get out a piece of paper or something like that, and we put it in a line. And when I say that we put it in a line, I'll just give you a nice little example. It's like we go number one, bam, two, 3, and so on and so forth, right? 4. So we line up this thing and we look at it like there is this straight line. I am here. I am going to be going to destination Z, and I'm just going to go. Well, life never works like that. So hence I'm coming back to, we are all trying to figure it out because life do not walk in those steps. um we there is Have you ever seen a design sometime on Facebook or on Instagram, and they say, this is what you want to come from here to here, but then there's all these squiggly things on the other side because instead of this whole clear, clean, concise line, we just kind of go around in circles. We go 3 step forward, 10 step backward, and then we like 2 step forward, and then we 20 step backward, and then we go 1 step forward, and then we 30 step backward, and then finally at some point we get to zero, and it's just never from one to point one to point two. It is a maze, my friend. Life is a maze. And we are lucky that we get some tools that we can figure it out, So we get some tools that we can probably live by, or, make an anchor by, have those tools as an anchor, something that anchor us, that take us out from that wave of life that we live in. And even if we are on it, we are anchored, so we can go up and down, but we still kind of solid in a way, or like we still put we still staying put. So life tools, I would say life tools. Yeah, I think I would have to make the caption, the title, maybe three life tools, or three tools to live by, or tools, I would call it tools. I don't know if it's a lesson. Nobody wants a lesson. You guys have been, being beaten up every single day, so you don't want a lesson. Maybe you want a tool. I like tools. So let's get into it, right? Uh, tool number one. Tool number one, have something to do. Have something to do. And when I say have something to do, I would give you an example, right? My job do not start until, well, this year, my job is starting in April, late April, right? Normally my job starts in May, but I don't mind. It starts this year, late April. And I'm excited for it because I'm actually ready to go back to work. Now, I work the summer season in Banff National Park, and I work with, Parks Canada. So I work just the summer season, but the way it is, it's called a permanent. So it's a permanent job. It's a permanent seasonal job. That's like how the title would run. Permanent seasonal job. So this is my 12th year working that job. And what I like about this job is that it has a start date and it has an end date for the year. So when I go to work, I'm not at work going, oh my God, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Honestly, fuck that. I have worked so hard already in my lifetime. And now at this age, 63, which I still have to continue working, and it's a possibility I am going to be working until I'm 70, 75. Technically, I think I'm going to be working until the day I died, which is going to be like 90, possibly 100, but let's say 90 because I don't want to be senile in the world. But but that job has to be something that I'm loving, right? So in this job that I have now, so I already told you that it has a start date and an end date. Now that is something I could, I am definitely, that is something that that I have to do. So, um, however, I'll go into a little bit more because this is something that I'm looking forward to. This would be number two. Number two, you have to have something to look forward to. But before I go into the whole looking forward to, I'll come back to having something to do, right? So remind me because I'm gonna forget that. So having something to do in the days and the months that I am not working, because my job again starts in the beginning, well, end of April. So from October, literally, let's say from November to March, April, I have, my time is my own. I can work, I can volunteer. I have a commitment, I'm walking the red road, and that is something you can look up what it is, the red road, indigenous. Um, and so I have this commitment. I could go to Grenada and spend the winter, which is in Canada now. I can go there and spend it there. Um, so those are things that I can have, that I can do. They are almost also things you can look forward to, but they are things that I can do. Now, every day that I get up and I can look after my health, I can look after my well-being. So there's a lot for me to do between November and the time that I go back to work, end of April. Now, what I do so that I make sure that I have something to do every single day, what I do is that I write three things down that I would do for the next day. So today, I actually had, excuse me, my three things, already. This is my third thing for the day that I'm doing, which is my video. So I have my video to do. I actually went to get some lessons on editing from my neighbor. So I went to my neighbor house and get some editing done. I'm learning to edit, and because I need to have a physical person showing me what to do. I went to my neighbor, and I also got my hair kind of a little bit of a refresher on my hair. So those was my three things that I had to do today. So the point I'm making with number one is that having something to do is that make sure in your day to day life that you have something to do. And I'm talking something beside your job, not just your work, and that could be it. Your job could be something to do. However, in my case, not having to work at certain point in the year, I do need to have something to do. So instead of making my life complicated, or going into a deep depression in this winter time, what I do is I create and find things to do. So tomorrow, I already know that tomorrow I um I go to a group workout weight training class. So I have my group weight training class to go to tomorrow. And then I'm going to go into the city, into the town, and get some, face lotion, whatever. And that means I'm going to be walking. So I'll take a hour and an hour and a half walk. I'll go to my weight training program, and I'll also do a little bit of shopping. So I already know that I have those things to do tomorrow. And then Wednesday, I know that I'm flying out of town, so that is a big thing already. All I have to do on that day is get myself to the airport, which is 2 hours from here. So of course, I'm leaving my house way long before the time to fly. So I'll be leaving my home about 8 in the morning, and getting there at 10 so that I can fly at noon. So so it's a full day, and now I'm somewhere else. So yeah, so you get the picture of having something to do, especially when you do not have a permanent job that you go into. Find something that brings you joy and do it. And when I don't have particular physical thing to do, I don't knit and I don't crochet like most people do, but I do have some craft, some things that I actually do, and I'll show you. Just give me a moment. I'll just go down here and grab um one of the craft items that I make. Um, I usually make these nice little what do you call it? I don't want to tear it, but I make these nice little medicine pouch. This one is not finished. It's just being made. The few that I have finished, I've been giving them. Oh, I have a finished product here. All the rest, I packed them and I've been giving them to my friends. So this one is an almost finished product. This is the back of it, and this is the front. And to see when you open it here, yeah. So I make medicine pouch and give them to my friends. That's the thing that I love to do. So I would make this, and I'll do some craft, and yeah, it takes a little bit of time, certain, yeah. Anyways, so that is part of my other things that I would do that give me something to do. This is one that I actually stitch with with letter. Did it with a needle and thread. So with a yeah, with a needle that is actually for leather. And so yeah, so that is what I do as my craft thing, something crafty to do. And I know that it's just really lovely. Or sometimes I do word puzzle as well, which give me something to do. As I mentioned, it doesn't have to be rocket scientist, right? So that's number one, making sure you have something to do, especially on the days where you feel it's going to be harder. Now, you need to have something to look forward to. And so earlier I was speaking about my job, right? So, on the months that I don't work, the winter months that I don't work, basically I do know that I have my job that I'm looking forward to going back to in at the end of April. So this is why I'm coming back to doing, the job thing. I work between April and October. And this gives me something to look forward to in the wintertime. So, for instance, when I leave and go to the Caribbean, when it's winter here, I know while I'm there, I'm like, I know that I have my job to look forward to when I return to Canada. And I like my job. I'm a stewardess to the land, and I really love doing the job that I do. I love working with Parks Canada. I love just, going out and about and cleaning up the park and walking on the campground. And I just love walking outside and in nature. I think that is the biggest gift of the job that I do. I get to walk outside in nature the entire summer. And let me tell you, you cannot beat that. It beats a fluorescent light. It beats, I just love, love. And I walk on the lake and I also walk in the forest. So it just works out for me really well. So that is something that I look forward to. Now, right now, today, while I'm here, I'm also looking forward to traveling on Wednesday. I'm going to Toronto, well, Ontario. I'm going to be in Toronto, but I'm also going to be um, in Niagara on the lake. That's where my friend is living. So I get to go and explore Niagara Falls and the lake area and do some walking around and spending a lot of quality time with my friend that is going through cancer at this time. I know it's a hard thing to do. I don't know how she's doing at this time, but what I do know is that I'm looking forward to going and spend some time with my friend, even though she is sick. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my other friend that is going to be picking me up on the airport and, spending time with that friend. I have family in Toronto area, so I may go and see them as well. So there's a lot of things. I already sent a message to another friend. But anyways, I digress, but that's the idea of having something to look forward to. And something to look forward to could be a walk in the morning. Like literally, you wake up in the morning and you go for a walk, right? I'm a walker, and many days, especially when it's doom and gloom outside, I don't even want to wake up and go, I don't want to go out for a walk. But I stopped telling myself that I have to go out for a walk, Now I'm like, I get to go for a walk, or I don't have to go at 6 in the morning. I can go literally at 11 a.m., or I can go at noon, or I can go at 1 p.m. I don't have to run out there at 9 a.m. and get that, because I used to do that and I just got very tired of doing that. So now I just look forward to going in the middle of the day or in the middle of the evening, and I take my time, put on my shoes, and my body and my mind is like we going for a walk. So something as small as that, you can look forward to doing, going for a walk. The third thing that it's a good tool to live by is to have someone to love. And you may say, well, Jean, I have nobody to love. What should I do? Well, the truth is, you can love a dog, right? I'm sure that, you may have a pet that is something to love. You can love nature, and you can go out and sit and walk in nature, whether it's winter, summer, autumn, or whatever, fall, spring, winter. Um, I go out, as I mentioned earlier, I go out and walk all the time. I'm doing this because I'm watching out my window. Looking out my window, like you can see out my window, right? Okay, I understand. But yeah, you can go out in nature. I think for me, the biggest thing when it says have somebody to love or something to love, for me, I truly believe in community. So if you can find a community, like-minded people, a friend, a really good friend, or you have a ring and finger kind of friend, someone you can call in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the morning. Somehow, I think that's the one thing I'm not blessed with, having the type of ring and finger friend where I can call in the middle of the night. I have friends, I have lots of friends, lots of women friends that I love deeply, and they love me deeply. And we chat here and we chat there, and we did, but ultimately, I feel like I am kind of like an island. Well, I have to rephrase that, because I do have another friend. I have another really, really good friend. And that friend is my husband. And he's right now living in Grenada. And I just realized I can call that friend anytime. Yeah. So I do have a ring and finger friend. It's just not a woman, because I always put women, into that category of ring and finger friend. Anyways, those are the three things that I recommend. So find a community if you don't have a person. There's all kind of an online community. You can, actually, one of the biggest online community that I was in, I found a friend, a really good friend, and we end up, like, she's the person that is even picking me up tomorrow. And I've met her since 2020, I think, 2020, 2021. I've met her, and look at that. 5 years later, we are very good friends, and she's picking me up tomorrow. And so, even in groups online, you can ask anyone if they want to be your accountability person. It depends on what you're going through. There is overeating group, there is intimate fasting group, there is weight loss group, there is self-development group, and there's a lot of groups on Facebook that is free. So even if you're saying, well, Jane, where am I going to find a community where I'm going to find a friend? Join an online community. If you're a homebound person and you cannot go out, you can do that. Now, one of the reasons why I those three things, those three tools has come to me today. I've heard them a long, long time ago, and I can't remember who I've heard said that. I think I may have read it in a book. I'm a bit of a self-development junkie, so I may have read it in a book or something like that. But this quote, these things to live by, which is something to do with happiness, was written by a novelist and activist by the name of Rita Mae Brown. Rita Mae Brown. And I think there is something about Thomas something in there too. Was looking to see but it's this quote I've heard a while now. And I truly always come back to it. It's almost like the Ho'oponopono prayer. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I used to love the Ho'oponopono prayer. And right now it's deluding me. But if you know it, send me a line. But I do know it very well. It's just kind of slipping me now as I speak. Yeah. And so yes, so anyways, the thing I want to say, I was listening today to Glow. I was listening to my one of the people that I follow on YouTube, and I was listening to her speak today. And basically, sorry, I'm looking up the Ho'oponopono prayer because it's something that I have known very well, and it's right here, so I'm looking it up. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now, that is a compassionate prayer for yourself. And that is a prayer that we can pray every day, I'm sidestepping here. So the Honopono prayer, you know it. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I'm sorry type of thing. It goes in that direction. So this something to look forward to, something to do, and somebody to love, or something to love, or a community to love. To me, it is similar to the Honopono prayer. When I live in the Honopono prayer, life for me expand. I mean, I pray every day, not necessarily this prayer, but when I do the Honopono prayer, life really and truly expands for me. And I recommend that if you're going through any kind of a hard time and you don't know where to start, go and forgive yourself. Yeah, forgive yourself, give yourself some compassion, because that is a real compassionate prayer. That would work. That work. There is history that is a prayer. It's an ancient Hawaiian prayer, and it has been a huge thing that work. But today I was listening to Glow, and she was saying, the secret to happiness, and she talked about the secret to happiness is she used the middle line that I have here, something to look forward to. Having something to look forward to will make you happy. And I leave it here. um I love you guys. Thanks for staying all the way until the end here with me. Don't forget to subscribe and like my video. I have excellent content. I may be healing and hiring my way through this space, through this YouTube street, but guess what? Only me can be me. And without censoring myself and cutting out all the old parts, yeah, you're gonna have to do this. So do less and be more of who you are. And yeah, thank you.